Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we've got a really interesting mix of source material. It combines 1814 Regency London, high society, with something very modern, 21st century writing collaboration.
Yeah, it's quite the blend. We're looking at scandal, inherited grudges, reputation,
Mhm.
all that classic Regency stuff.
But also how the story itself was built using, well, modern tech.
Exactly. So the setting is London, 1814. Think intense focus on secrets, who your family is, what people think of you.
And we're focusing on this relationship between the scandalous Miss Hebden Imogen, or Midge, and the Viscount, who decides he has to marry her.
Monty, Viscount Mildenhall. And beneath all that, there's a 20-year-old murder mystery sort of bubbling up.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack all this. How does Midge, this awkward girl, end up basically forced into marriage with Monty, who she's pretty sure despises her?
And how does this old crime keep affecting them? And importantly, what does the way the authors wrote this tell us about the story itself?
Okay, so let's start with the incident that kind of sets it all off. The sources call it the champagne incident.
Ah, yes. Poor Midge. She's described as the resident wallflower. She barely gets invited to dance. It's like a favor someone's doing your family.
And then just pure clumsiness, she spills champagne, not just anywhere, but all over the most eligible guy there.
Viscount Mildenhall, Monty. Described, I think, as a breathtakingly gorgeous specimen of masculinity.
Ruined, or at least his very fancy green silk waistcoat is, dripping with champagne.
But the crucial bit isn't the waistcoat, is it? It's how Monty reacts.
No, not at all. He doesn't think accident, he thinks scheme.
Exactly. He sneers at her, accuses her of, deliberately running her hands over him to get noticed.
Compares her to mousy, unkempt creatures chasing him, calls her a hoyden, a presumptuous female, just awful.
And the consequences are immediate in that society.
Oh, totally. Her aunt tells her later, everyone saw the Viscount storm out, everyone assumes Midge made an exhibition of herself.
So just like that, her reputation's shot. She's judged completely unfit to mix in polite society. Doesn't matter what actually happened.
And this hits hard because, as we learn, Midge is already in a tough spot, isn't she?
Very tough. She's penniless. Apparently, her scholarly stepfather, Hugh Braden, managed to lose her mother's entire inheritance.
Which she was supposed to get when she turned 25. So now, what? She has to marry someone, anyone.
Pretty much. That or find work, maybe as a governess, which the text calls a fate worse than death, for someone of her background.
So it creates this awful situation. Midge needs a husband but isn't actively hunting one.
Meanwhile, Monty Vernon Claremont, the new Viscount Mildenhall, is under huge pressure from his dying father, the Earl of Corfe.
Needs an heir, needs a wife, fast.
Right. But he absolutely detests the husband hunters, the women, just after his title and money.
Which explains his behavior, doesn't it? Playing the over-the-top dandy.
Exactly. He says he does it to force people to show their true colors. It's a test, sort of.
And then Midge literally stumbles into his path, and he immediately thinks she's the worst kind of opportunist. The irony.
It's a terrible misunderstanding from the start. Their whole relationship is built on this antagonism.
And it leads to that ridiculous scene on the terrace. Not exactly a romantic moment.
No. She slaps him, bites his lip.
And he stumbles back into an urn full of sandy loam. You couldn't make it up.
It's quite the visual. And it's right after that he makes his proposal.
Yeah, and proposal is a generous word. It's more like a command.
Totally coercive. He tells her marriage is the best solution all around. It's unavoidable.
Says he needs to keep her in line, stop her causing a real scandal. He's basically buying control.
He thinks he's getting this wild, reckless woman he needs to manage.
But then there's that connection, the one piece that changes things later. Her stepbrother.
Right. Captain Ulrich Braden, Rick, Midge's favorite stepbrother. And he happens to be Monty's close friend from the military.
And Rick's been telling Monty for ages about his wonderful, loyal sister, Midge.
So Monty thinks he's strong-arming this scandalous stranger.
Only to realize he's actually forced his best mate's beloved sister into marriage. Awkward.
Deeply awkward.
Yeah.
So, okay, they've got their own messy, coerced situation going on. But the sources make it clear this is just one layer. There's bigger stuff happening.
The shadow of the past. That's where the murder mystery comes in.
Yeah, this goes way back 1794. There was a dreadful tragedy.
Involving Midge's actual father, Kit Hebden. He was murdered.
And another man, Lord Leybourne, father of some other key characters, was hanged for it. Hanged for murder and treason with a silk rope.
And everyone knows the story. It hangs over both families.
And this old trauma doesn't just stay in the past. It erupts right at the wedding.
Oh, yeah. The arrival of Stephen. the Gypsy half-brother.
Talk about dramatic entrances. He's the illegitimate son of Midge's father, Kid Hebden, and a gypsy woman.
Midge's mother actually raised him for a bit before the grandfather sent him away.
And he shows up at the wedding with a gift.
Chilling. A silken rope tied into a hangman's noose.
Directly referencing Lord Leyburn's execution. But there's another layer too.
Right. Stephen points out his own mother, who was Leyburn's lover, hanged herself with a silk scarf.
So that rope is just loaded with meaning. Stephen believes justice must be done. He blames Midge, now part of the aristocracy, for his awful childhood in a foundling home.
He wants vengeance. Wants to ruin her.
And right on top of that nightmare, Midge gets more terrible news.
Her other stepbrother, Germanicus. Jerry. He's dead. Fever.
It's just too much. Jerry's death, Stephen's threat, the sheer humiliation of this marriage. She just breaks.
And she runs. But where does she run?
To Stephen. Which seems crazy, but the source suggests she sees him as the only real sibling she has left, especially as her other stepbrother, Nick, is cold and selfish.
Okay, so this is chaos. Let's pause and look at the motivations, especially from the men pulling the strings here, like Monty's father, the Earl.
Ah, the Earl of Corfey. He's a piece of work. The sources say he's not really sick.
No, he just pretends to have nervous disorders. Why?
Control. To maintain this atmosphere of complete tranquility, where everyone does exactly what he wants.
And he is unbelievably cruel to Midge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He tells her straight up that Monty will probably get a mistress in London when she's pregnant.
Says a man like Monty couldn't stomach staying down here, servicing a plain little baggage like you. Just vile.
It is, and that comment is key, because it explains why Midge might run off seeking comfort anywhere she can find it.
But it also contrasts sharply with Monty's actual reasons for being distant later, doesn't it?
Exactly. This is where the uncommunicated intentions cause so much pain. Monty was cold and distant after they got married and went to his estate, Shevington Court.
And Midge thought it was disgust, contempt, because of what the Earl said and how Monty acted initially.
But the source reveals the truth. Monty was worried sick about her.
Because of her mother's history? Miscarriages and difficult pregnancies?
Yes. The doctor, Dr. Cotty, secretly warned Monty to stop marital relations, to protect Midge and the potential heir.
But he didn't tell her.
No. He was afraid of alarming her, so he just pulls away physically.
Which she reads as rejection. Oh, the irony. He's trying to protect her, fulfilling his duty in a way, but his silence makes him seem monstrous to her.
It's that Regency obsession with propriety and avoiding difficult conversations, even when honesty is crucial. Devastating consequences.
So when does the penny finally drop for Monty?
It's when he tracks Midge down. She's fled to Stephen's house. He actually has to fight his way in, find Stephen's Indian servant prone on the hall floor, blood streaming of his nose.
Wow. So things get physical.
They do, but the real breakthrough is emotional. Monty finally confesses.
What does he say?
He says he'd fallen in love. Not with the scandalous Miss Hebden he thought he was marrying, or some bargain for an heir.
But with who?
With Midge, Rick's loyal, loving sister. He finally sees the person Rick described, the person she actually is.
He realizes his assumptions were totally wrong. The dandy facade, the Viscount's duty, it all crumbles.
Yeah. And he sees her strength, her integrity, despite everything she's been through.
And this leads to a real shift in him.
A huge shift. He agrees to leave Shevington, that oppressive estate. His focus becomes Midge's well-being.
He arranges for the twin boys he looks after, Jem and Tobe, to go to school. He steps up.
And he basically decides to follow Midge's example. He says he'll stay true to myself and to hell with everyone else's expectations.
That's quite a transformation, from coercive Viscount to, well, a partner.
It really is. Her journey from wallflower to this woman who demands honesty is central.
Right.
But now we have to talk about how this whole world got built.
Right, the meta story. Because this complex Regency world, with the 1794 history and all the social rules, it wasn't written by one person in quiet solitude.
Not at all. The author's note spills the beans. This series, Regency Silken Scandal, was a massive collaboration, 6 authors working together.
They called themselves the Continuistas.
Which brings us to that paradox. How do you write a story set in 1814 all about constraints and reputation?
Under modern, tight deadlines.
By using, and I quote, all the technology available to 21st century writers.
We're talking Yahoo file sharing, we're talking email, lots of email.
Over 2,500 emails exchanged between them.
2,500 emails, just to keep the story straight.
Yep. Sharing maps of the estates, documents, even pictures of actors to keep character descriptions consistent.
making sure the drawing room colors matched. The dialogue felt right for the period, across 8 books by 6 different people.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the story, Midge's life is almost ruined by one tiny, uncoordinated accident.
While behind the scenes, you have this massive coordinated effort using thousands of digital messages to ensure perfect continuity.
It completely changes how you think about historical fiction writing. It's
Yeah.
not just one person dreaming it up. It can be this networked creation.
So let's wrap this up. We've dived into Midge Hebden's story from social disaster to finding real connection with Monty amidst family trauma, secrets, and, well, attempted vengeance.
We've seen how misinterpretations and unspoken truths, driven by Regency pressures, nearly destroyed them.
But knowing how the book was made, that adds another layer, doesn't it?
It really does. So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. You have this intricate historical world, the 1794 treason, the Gypsy curse, the stifling social codes. How does knowing it was meticulously constructed via 2,500 emails and shared files change how you see it?
Does that high-tech collaboration enhance the historical feel? Or does it maybe challenge it? Does it make the world feel more solid or perhaps less authentic somehow?
Is this collaborative process, this very modern way of building a historical world, a kind of triumph for storytelling, allowing for this huge scope? Or is it maybe a bit like a dreadful tragedy in itself, where individual creative spark gets managed by committee?
Something to definitely mull over next time you pick up a historical novel. Was it one vision or a network?